Whoa. I'll tell you something. When I came up with that concept of game films and the playbook, and I came up with the idea of creating those three plays you saw there, the two football plays and the one at the garage sale there. I'm so fortunate to have my daughter to help me because she made them for me. Hey, did you realize that's all made out of PowerPoint? Isn't that cool? Well, look, I just want to review with you something because this is such an important thing here. You use game films. Now, you're not going to have game films of you at work in your business unless you have mindfulness with it and you make some notes and maybe you have somebody else watch you or somebody else with you and you review that stuff. Secondly, you're going to have plays and we're going to talk about some plays in just a second here and specifically where they need to go in your business. And you're going to decide which of those plays work and don't work. Now, they're all going to work some of the time. It's just that you got to be careful which situation you're working in. And that's all it is, folks. What a system this is, what a different way this is of thinking, because we're so contemporary here, we're so on the edge. And remember, if you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space. Now, here I'm going to get into with you is that 5 parts of the consumer purchase decision process again, which I introduced to you a little while ago. I understand that, but now we're going to go in depth and we're really going to hammer on problem recognition, which is so fundamental. And we're going to talk about specific plays you can use for each one. I just don't want you to forget this 5-step buying process. This is so important, and I want it to come to mind every time you're in a situation where you might have a prospect or a customer or a potential business partner. These are the 5 stages they go through: problem recognition, information search, trial evaluation, purchase decision, and the post-purchase evaluation. Memorize them. Keep them in your mind, be able to call them up whenever you need them. I want you to look at this definition of problem recognition. This is so important. It's so fundamental to your ability to sell without selling. When a desired state is different than the actual state. And this happens in all kinds of occasions. For example, just this morning, I went to the garage and I opened the garage. There was no Mercedes in there. Problem recognition, the desired state that there would be a Mercedes in there was different than the actual state that there was no Mercedes there. So this happens all the time, and people will not start on any other part of the buying process unless they have problem recognition. Now, what you have to do is you have to stir the pain. You don't want to rush problem recognition. In other words, you don't want to say to people, "Oh, this is probably wrong, isn't it?" and then jump in and try to sell them something or try to get the going on the journey some more. You want to stir the pain. So when someone says to you that they have a problem, don't say you have a solution. When they say they have a problem, you want to stir their pain because you want the I know this sounds cruel, but you want the pain of their problem to be so great that they'll ask you for information on how to solve it. See, this is really important. This is changing that situation. This is getting your customers, your prospects, your potential business partners into a different frame of mind. They're not guarding themselves because you're trying to sell them something. They're incredulous that you understand their pain, and then you remind them something. Let me just give you a real quick example here, okay? And I'm going to give it to you for vitamins because it's kind of easy to understand. Suppose someone says to you, "I'm always so tired in the afternoon." Somebody you work with, 2 o'clock, and I'm so tired. Every afternoon I get so tired. Now, if you're actively selling, you take out a sample of your vitamins and say, "Oh, here, take these. You'll feel a lot better. Your whole problem will be solved." No. Ask them what's bad about not having energy in the afternoon, and get them talking about it. And you want them to start telling you their story. So they might say to you, "Well, I'm so tired when I go home. I don't want to play with my kids because I got to get dinner made, but I got so many things in my mind." So you don't say, oh, well, then I can, here, take these vitamins. That'll cure that. No. What you want to do is stir the pain. Now, listen to me. This is going to sound cruel. All right. But, you're helping them on a journey. You're helping them with problem recognition. So when they say, I feel tired in the afternoon and I go home and I don't have time with my kids, what do you say? You say, oh, that must make you feel awful. Are your children noticing it? In other words, let them live in that pain for a while, because that's going to be important to them. You can't solve their problem for them unless they really want to have that problem solved. And remember, you're trying to get them to go to the next stage, which is information search. And you're not going to sell them on that. You're just going to be there when they ask you for the information. Now, the second stage here is information search. In other words, they have problem recognition. And let's go back to the feeling tired in the afternoon. They had problem recognition. Now they really have problem recognition because you had a problem recognition play ready to go. Plays are strategies and tactics that you're gonna bring into a situation. You remember that from the things we've showed you before. So now they're really have problem recognition, and they're thinking, oh my gosh, not only am I tired, it's affecting my children and my relationship with my spouse. So now they're ready for the next step. You need to have a play ready to give them some information. That means you need to be carrying things with you, or you need to be able to direct them to a video, or you need to have them talk to somebody who's had the same problem. In other words, have your plays ready to go. Judge the situation. If you have to make an audible, go ahead and do it, but be ready to play. Now, very, very few people are actually going to get information about something and then say, oh, this is enough. I'm ready to make my decision. A lot of times they're going to want to have a trial evaluation, which means they're going to look at the benefits and weaknesses of a couple different products. This is when you get to take it for a spin. I remember the first time when Jeannie and I were first married, and we looked at a car, we really liked it. It was really nice. We couldn't decide. And the guy said to us, why don't you take it home overnight? We said, we can do that? He said, sure, just leave your car here. Well, of course, we bought that car because we got to take it home. It fit into the garage. We looked good in it. This is before cell phones, so we couldn't take selfies, but nonetheless, we could picture ourselves in that car. Whatever it is that you're selling, and trial evaluation. Let's suppose you have somebody you want to join you in business. Well, maybe get them around some other successful people so they can see what it means to feel comfortable and to feel successful. This trial evaluation is very important. Don't try to skimp on this stage, because the more time people spend in trial evaluation, especially if you're guiding on it, the more likely they are to choose your product or service or idea over someone else's. Now look at this stage. This is the purchase decision. Folks, you got to be ready for this, because this is everything you've been working for. Now look what it says. It says it's the purchase decision. This is their buyer saying to you, I will take that. Now, let me just tell you, even if you're brand new at this, don't act surprised. That's not a good play. It's not a good look for you. Take a selfie of yourself looking surprised because someone believed you, and then find some way to change that. You do not want your customer to think this is the first time you've ever done this. So here's the thing. You've got to be ready for the purchase decision, because it can happen at any time. Sometimes once you've stirred their pain in problem recognition, they say, okay, that's enough. I'll take it. Sign me up. So you got to be ready for that. Now, what kind of plays do you need for when they have the purchase decision? When they say, I'm ready for it, you've got to be ready to whatever it is. If it's a product you're selling, you got to get them to the website so they can order it, or you got to order it for them, or however that works in your business. If it's buying into an idea or relationship with you, okay, you've got to be ready to get them signed up, because remember, you stirred the pain for them. They got the information they need. They tried a couple things, and now they're saying to you, okay, let's go. Don't ever stand in their way. they're an adult. They've made this decision, and they were the ones that made the decision. You didn't sell them anything. Here you go. You're ready. Here's a really different place to be, but it's so important for you in the selling without selling process, because you don't want to have to start selling at this point. So in the post-purchase evaluation, this is when they bought the blue car and they're driving it home and they're thinking, maybe I should have bought the red car. People, and especially the bigger the commitment, the bigger the product, the more expensive it is. This is when people start having second thoughts. Now, remember, you're not selling them on anything. If they have second thoughts and it just overwhelms them, okay, so be it. But you want to be there with whatever they need, and you want to have plays designed because I want you to expect that this is going to happen. Sometimes it doesn't happen, and you call the audible. You say, okay, here we go. Sometimes it does happen. Sometimes it happens a little bit. There's another audible. Sometimes they just fall apart. Another audible. Okay, you're going to have plays in your playbook that are going to help people. Now, let's look at what some of those might be. Suppose somebody all of a sudden feels like they're outside their comfort zone. Get them into a selfie and show them how good they look right where they are now, and assure them that's where they're going to operate from, that they're going to operate from the comfort zone. Maybe somebody, they're now having second thoughts about the money they spent. All right, have a play ready to talk about the problem again. If they got to this point because they purchased something based on problem recognition, you may now have to go back and refresh their mind on just exactly why they're there. So these are plays that can work. Maybe it's getting them around someone else at this point. These are the plays that will work for you. Remember, they don't always work in every situation, but these are good plays. Use your audibles. Call what you need to do. You're important in this person's life right now.